So today we are um, going to talk a little bit about Akshaya Tritiya. Most of us do not understand this festival. We do not also understand the importance of this day. I always say it's a very important day. We say Guru Purnima is important, Akshaya Tritiya is important, Vasant Panchami is important, but we don't really talk about why it's really, really important from a mythological as well as philosophical point of view. So I'll spend some time talking about it, and hopefully people who have to go to office can take a little bit of time and finish the chanting and finish the session. So since we have a very very old heritage, there are many things that have happened on this day. And you will hear about buying gold coins, and it's very important for Lakshmi ji, and most of you are probably going out and getting something home today, hopefully gold. And that's all good, but that's not the main essence of this day. From a physiological perspective, this is the mark of end of spring and beginning of summer. So today, let's say Vasant Panchami, we celebrate because it is the day where we mark the beginning of spring. Yes, everybody knows that, right? And today we mark the beginning of summer, end of spring. Now, if when you so physiologically in the physical world, this is what is the physical connotation of Akshaya Tritiya is the day when summer begins. And Vasant Panchami is the day when spring begins. Hmm. Now, this is really, really important from a world point of view. You see, we all hibernate, even if we don't physically hibernate because we are not reptiles, but we generally hibernate in winter. And then spring, everybody starts to get up and get out of their sweaters and just go out a little bit. And then of course there's summer, and summer has its own intensity. It is not as heavy as winter, but summer has its own intensity. So from the philosophical point of view, a human being is generally assumed to be in the state of winter all the time. Yeah, most of us continue to hibernate. We are not awake to our reality. We are not awake to our. Um, we're not using our full potential. You know how in winter we're just eating and hibernating, just gestating, not doing anything. So it's very much like that. Most human beings are not living up to their potential, and they are in this state of inaction, non-action, slightly half asleep. Most of us are fully asleep. This is, I'm talking philosophically, right? So spring marks the beginning of a time when the human consciousness wakes up, physically also, or otherwise at some point in your life when there was spring, you woke up to the reality of philosophy, or your true path in life. Or so that portion of your life in the year, it is this time between April and May, depending on the hemisphere, whenever spring is, wherever it is, wherever you are geographically. In your life also, there would be some point in your life where you would have like awakened to this reality of God, reality of something bigger than you. Suddenly you awaken and you start to work towards it. So when we celebrate Vasant Panchami, we pray to which goddess?
Ma Saraswati Didi.
Excellent. Excellent. You pray to goddess Saraswati. Suddenly you waking up, and when you're waking up, you use your the guide, the guidance, the energy that guides you, the Shakti that guides you is Saraswati, knowledge. Yeah, suddenly you wake up. When you suddenly wake up, you shouldn't do stupid things. You should do good things. You should move towards the right direction. So Vasant Panchami every year is a reminder that we are moving in the right direction. We are moving towards the right goals. We are truly and completely awake. We are not asleep. We are not in the state of hibernation. And then what happens? You've woken up, you're moving towards the right direction. Then happens the biggest problem that human beings face is the problem of what is the biggest problem? What happened to Adam? What is the big problem? Okay, Shuki, what is the big problem? How do you fall from heaven to earth?
Disillusion, Maya,
Okay, desire.
desire.
The biggest problem is desire. And unless we somehow feel fulfilled, we're not going to be able to move. You know, कैसे बोलते हैं भूखे पेट ना भजन होता है ना, ऐसा बोलते हैं ना कि भजन करने के लिए भूखा पेट में भजन नहीं हो सकता. तो डिजायर जब तक आपकी अनफुलफिल्ड है और एट सम लेवल यू आर फीलिंग in some which way not satiated, you're not going to be able to move towards this big reality, big goal. Yes, but you cannot move towards it. It's quite crippling when you have something that you need in your life, when you have a gap in your life. It's very crippling to continue to motivate yourself to get out of the bed in the morning. You know, these days I'm binging on this show called Hoarding or something, Hoarder's Life. I've seen 4 seasons. It's fascinating for me how people can just vegetate and not like sleep through life. And you can see this for people who have this ailment externally, but it's true for all of us also. Like we're just vegetating, we have crap around us, we have um, this. So, and this happens usually when we don't have any motivation, any desire. So firstly, right direction. You have to get rid of your addictions, and then you have to start working towards it. And in the process, you also fulfill some of your addictions. It's not like you cannot fulfill your addictions and then move forward. If you have the need to purchase something, you must be able to purchase it. Only then you'd be able to move forward. If you have the need to acquire something, then you need to acquire it. Only then you'd be able to move forward. Or the desire has to completely die. But if the desire dies an untimely death, then the person becomes again in this limbo. You understand what I'm saying? The desire has to come up in the right time and be fulfilled in the right time. If it and if it is not going to be fulfilled also, with the right frame of mind, you have to face a desire which cannot be fulfilled also. You have to have the right frame of mind, preparation to be able to. So hoarders, after a long session of therapy, will be able to get rid of the hoarding capability. They will not fulfill all their desires. That I think they can be selective, but that's a different stage in life. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Yeah, shake your heads, roll your heads, roll your eyes if you don't. Okay. So the first thing that needs to happen is we need to suddenly wake up, or not suddenly, we need to wake up to the reality of something bigger is there, and we start to move towards it. Then the big stumbling block that comes is we have desires. I don't feel good about myself. How can I move towards this bigger goal? Does that make sense? This is where Akshaya Tritiya plays a very important role. This marks the beginning of summer. So, all the desires that can be fulfilled, that are good for you, that are there for you, should be fulfilled in a meaningful fashion, in a nice fashion, in a fashion where you are able to achieve vairagya, you're able to achieve detachment. This kind of fulfillment, you know, एक बार मटर पनीर खाया, फिर अगले दिन दोबारा मन कर रहा है मटर पनीर ही खाना है. Or you have something nice, you go to a nice restaurant, you go there once, and then you are dreaming about going there the second time and having the same dish over again. Yeah, because you loved it so much. You didn't get satiated the first time you went and had. This is a problem. This is a human, very real problem. I'm giving you a simple example. एक बार करके हमें काफी नहीं है, 2 बार, 3 बार, 4 बार, 5 बार. और अगर एक बार करके ठीक है, दोबारा जा भी नहीं पा रहे हैं, तो भी वो in your head it is moving again and again and again and again. You want it. You are replaying that experience again and again, whether it is a romantic experience or it is an experience of a good piece of music, a good piece of art, a good piece of food, or whatever it is that makes you happy. You are not able to feel fulfilled. You are continuously wanting to try that over and over and over. So feeding is okay. Feeding is not bad. If you feed your desire, it's absolutely fine. But this feeding of desire should satiate you. Does that make sense? When you have had it once, then it should be enough. It should absolutely satiate you. एक बार करो, ठीक से जी लो, उसके बाद उसमें वापस क्यों जाना है? एक ही चीज ये रिपीट पे. Why are we having leftovers constantly? Why do we have to keep repeating it? Why do we have to keep reliving it? Move from one desire to the next desire to the next. Does that make sense? Do you understand the importance of this desire? And desire needs to be fulfilled properly, because if it is not fulfilled properly, then the problem is that you don't have the motivation to work towards higher goals. You will constantly feel demotivated. So, one, awakening to the higher goals, very important. Of course, if you don't have it, you have this state of hibernation, slumber, sleeping. You're not even awake. You don't even know. You don't recognize there's a problem. You don't recognize there's a path. You don't have anywhere to go. Don't even recognize there's a goal. When you recognize there's a goal and there is an immediate um, mutilation of your desires. You will recognize there is God, but there is mutilation of desires. There is no way that you can fulfill anything. Then also it's not healthy. You cannot walk that path for very long. Does that make sense? So after you have recognized, you need to move to the stage where you don't have you have desires coming up and you're able to fulfill those desires. And the process of fulfilling those desires has to be in a fashion where it is satiating. It doesn't leave you with this constant, I need the same thing over and over. Why do hoarders become hoarders? Because they're buying some crap over and over. They're reliving the same thing over and over and over. And it's not something that only exists, that's a physical description or symptom of it. But all of us have the same problem in a at different levels with different things. We may be craving experiences, we may be craving love, we may be craving compliments, we may be craving turn of heads. Who knows? Yeah. I mean, my constant conversation with Shashank, every conversation, yeah, I need compliments. Right? You cannot go wrong if you give me
But
compliments.
desire is not met. Too much of desire.
It is met, but if it is not met in a fashion where it is satiated, you're completed, you cannot move forward. You cannot work towards higher goals. So this particular day, you have to remember, is the meeting of summer and spring. Yeah, geographically, meeting of summer and spring. And philosophically, it is really, really important because this is when everything gets done. in the world around us also. This is where all the flowers will bloom. Summer is a very beautiful period till it becomes extreme. It's very, early summer, you have like lots of beautiful flowers. You have zinnias, you have like, I'm a gardening person, so I know. But for those of you who are not gardening also, Ramanji, kitne flowers hote na? Summer is such a beautiful time. Early summer, right after spring. It's beautiful anywhere in the world. It's really beautiful. Even if you're not into gardening, you'll love, sara amal tas khil jata hai, sara. It's really, really nice. Gulmohar khil jata hai, amaltas khil jata hai. Like, it's beautiful this time, this summer. But now, if you move forward from this time, spring, summer to a little bit late summer or peak summer, then it becomes hard. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over. It's not possible to keep doing the same thing over and over and have a good result. So, desire has to be uh, fructified or flowered, and it has to be satiated, and it has to be satiated in a fashion that you're not put on repeat. If you are going to be put on repeat, it's going to be really, really hard and destructive and difficult. So, so there is merit in philosophy in celebrating this period where you are able to. Usually, we don't talk about desires, we talk about ending desires, we talk about moving desires, we talk about changing desires. This is not something we talk about um, all the time, except when we do Devi Upasana, when we do Lakshmi Ji Ki Upasana. We talk about desire. And it is very meaningful desire. Yeah, as you can understand from what I'm saying, it's very meaningful to talk about desire. So, this day, because it marks such a beautiful conjunction, is the day when you start thinking about desire, you're thinking about fulfilling it beautifully in a satiating fashion. So, mythologically, there are a lot of stories that talk about fulfillment of desire. Like, today is the day that marks uh, the day of Mata Annapurna, बर्थ ऑफ माता अन्नपूर्णा. बर्थ क्या होती है? माता अन्नपूर्णा तो पार्वती है, कोई डिफरेंट तो है नहीं. पर उन्होंने उस फॉर्म में, she took the form where she could fulfill even Lord Shiva's desire. Yeah, that she's shown as, yeah, serving kheer to Lord Shiva. मंदिर किधर है? वाराणसी. So अन्नपूर्णा माता भगवान शंकर के भी डिजायर को वैंक्विश कर सकती. तो आज इसलिए वी डू पूजा फॉर माता अन्नपूर्णा, कि डिजायर ऐसी हमें दें और डिजायर की फुलफिलमेंट भी ऐसी दे कि शंकर भी जहां पर तृप्त हो जाए, हम भी तृप्त हो जाए. Then we, of course, how can you talk about desire, not talk about Mahalakshmi? Yeah,
Money.
no, you have to talk about Mahalakshmi because desire is all related to Lakshmi ji. So mythologically and historically, there are many, many episodes of uh, cases where you celebrate Mahalakshmi. There is a story about Samudra Manthan, and the Samudra Manthan happens, and then Lakshmi ji comes out, and she comes out at Mahalakshmi. That day is supposed to be Akshaya Trittiya. There is a story about Adi Shankaracharya ji. Uh, he's he usually used to take bhiksha from three houses. Three houses are allowed. So if he wouldn't get anything, he would go hungry. So he went to a house where there was an old woman. She was really poor and she didn't have anything to give. She had only gooseberries and they were also stale. And she gave the one gooseberry that she had. That's the. I'm sure I've told you guys the story many times, but whatever. So he got really moved and he asked Goddess Lakshmi to shower grace on her and fulfill her desires. And therefore, there was a rain of golden gooseberries. It's also the story. Later in history, we see Vidyaranya Swami, Shankaracharya again, who wanted to establish an entire kingdom. The kingdom was established, which is Hampi, right? The kingdom was established because he invoked goddess Lakshmi on Akshay Trittiya, and it rained golden coins from the sky for, I think, many days. It rained gold coins, and the entire empire was built based on that wealth that was at that time given with the grace of goddess Lakshmi. It is also said that uh, Kuber got his entire wealth on this day from Mahalakshmi. So you guys understand these mythological references now that I've explained it to you? Yeah, this day is about, of course, making sure you have resources to fulfill your desires. You have everything available for you to fulfill your desires. But desires are not the goal. The goal is to satiate them and get them to be quiet so that you can move forward. So many such references. We hear the story that uh, Gangaji came to earth today's day, Akshay Tritiya. She hit earth today. Again, a source of great nourishment to this country and this civilization. So नदी में स्नान बहुत important बताते हैं आज के दिन. And we know from our other classes that moon is very important and movement के लिए नदी में स्नान करना बहुत अच्छा रहता है. So everything else that we hear about Akshay Tritiya is connected to this only. We need our desires fulfilled in a meaningful, satiating manner so that we are not stuck in this endless loop of desire. And therefore, we invoke Mahalakshmi, we invoke Annapurna, we invoke Akshay Patra. Akshay Patra जो द्रौपदी के पास था, बाद में ऋषियों को मिला. अक्षय पात्र सूर्य भगवान ने अक्षय पात्र दिया, जिसमें से जितना चाहो जो चाहो खाना निकल के आता था. जितने लोगों के लिए चाहो उतने लोगों के एक बार आता. तो सूर्य भगवान ने द्रौपदी को दिया. तो इसलिए हमने अभी आदित्य हृदय किया, क्योंकि सूर्य की उपासना. तो आप किसी भी देवी देवता की उपासना कर रहे हैं, अगर डिजायर फुलफिलमेंट के लिए कर रहे हैं, तो आज का दिन बहुत अच्छा है. कोई भी डिजायर हो आपका, आज आप पूजा कर लो. आज आपका डिजायर हो सकता है कि ना ठीक से पूजा की तो लगेगी, और ऐसे पूरी हो, डिजायर भी ऐसे पूरी हो जिससे कि वो दोबारा रिपीट पे ना जाए. But of course, we are mortals and we are selfish, and when we start following these things, we start becoming more and more material instead of becoming more and more ethereal. We become more and more. So अच्छा, तो ऐसा करते हैं, अक्षय तृतीया पे बहुत सारा अनुष्ठान कर लेते हैं, ये भी पूरा हो जाएगा, ये भी पूरा हो जाएगा, ये भी पूरा हो जाएगा. Hey, that's not the goal. But yes, if you truly feel that something is stopping you and you really need something in your life, and you need that fulfilled to be able to feel complete and secure and move forward towards your other spiritual goals, today is a good day to invoke the divine for this purpose. Yeah, don't use the day or abuse the day for material gratification. Good, meaningful desires in the right direction, and try to make sure that those get fulfilled in a fashion where you do not continue to have the craving. Any questions? Sorry, my throat is really bad. I hope you guys caught everything. No questions? Everybody understood everything? Great. Next time, everybody else will give a lecture on it.
The Shrinka, we buy gold just symbolically as a symbol to that we satiated our desire.
Actually, Raman ji, gold बहुत beautiful element है. In some class I talked about it. I don't know which class. I'm completely at a loss. But gold is a very beautiful metal. It's a noble metal. It's a beautiful metal. It basically represents the epitome of desire, which is सात्विक. सात्विक डिजायर. अगर कोई चीज डिजायर भी करनी है तो डिजायर भी ऐसी हो कि वो सोना बन जाए. तो कैसे बोलते हैं कि कोई सोना बन गया, सोने जैसा है, because it's so pure, it's so perfect, it's so nice, and it is so good for you, good for the world, good for you. So डिजायर भी ऐसी हो जो अच्छी हो, ब्यूटीफुल हो और वो ही पूरी हो. तो इसलिए सोना खरीदते हैं कि not to accumulate, but to, it's again symbolic that our desire should also be that pure, that good, that beautiful, that noble. What is the definition of a noble metal? Nobody is a science graduate.
Which is stable, does not change. A noble metal is a stable metal.
Excellent, excellent, very nice. So non-reactive.
Non-reactive.
It does not react with anything. It does not get, not even like copper, it's noble. Not even like silver, it's noble. It's the best noble metal, it's stable. So in many classes, I've discussed the importance of not moving. We are constantly in motion. In Yoga Sutras, in Bhagavad Gita, in every class, human problem is that we are constantly moving, we are changing. So gold symbolizes that state where you are absolutely stable, non-reactive, non-reactive, non-moving. That's why gold. So go buy gold. I don't tell you not to buy gold. Go buy gold. But remember what it stands for. Ask for things. I'm not telling you don't ask for things. Remember what it stands for. Hopefully, you'd be able to keep that in your mind when you move forward through the year, through the day, through your sadhana. Also, it's a very important day in the Jain religion, yeah, Disha? Why is it important? You want to share it, beta? Namaste, beta.
Namaste. Anna. I think it's one of the similar reasons that gold also has healing properties.
I'm not talking about gold, I'm talking about Jain religion.
For today's day, yes. So today, one of the most important aspect that's known is that when there's a fast which is called Varshita, which is the entire year. So you alternate. One day you can eat, the other day you're only on water, and then you alternate throughout the year. So today is the day where they break the fast with Ganeka juice.
And why is that?
Again, the properties of the Ganna.
Not talking about the properties. Historically, there was a fast that was kept by who?
Mahavir ji, Mahavir Shah.
So Mahavir Bhagwan kept a fast and it was broken today with sugar cane juice. So again, you look at the symbology of it, it is still the same. Many days he fasted, many days. He was so detached with his body, but he broke the fast and he had sugar cane juice. अब वो sugarcane juice, now if you start relating it to Hindu mythology, is representative of Lakshmi ji, and है ना, काफी लोग पागल होते हैं, शुगर केन का जूस स्पेशली लेके जाते हैं, शिव जी पे चढ़ाते हैं, क्यों, क्या है, उसका अभिषेक करने से बड़ा धन बढ़ जाता है. So let's not miss, keep the eye on the ball. That is very important. Yeah, it's not important that you get things. It's important that you start getting detached from those things because you have experienced them and you feel fulfilled. You cannot have an unending attachment to anything. Cannot be food in your refrigerator. It cannot be, you cannot become a hoarder of experiences. And what are you doing? It's not new experiences, same experiences over and over. You're running towards the same experiences. Like a mother is looking for the same hug from the child every single day. For those of you who are mothers, you know what that feels like. So, so it's a very important day. And we will resume our chanting now. I'll stop recording. So 2, 3 shlokas more. We'll do small ones if my throat allows. Kanakdhara is very hard on the throat, so I'll try my best. Please excuse me if I don't do a good job of it. All right, we'll go back to chanting. I'll stop recording.